Okay, and we are live. Hello, Ned.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show. How are we doing this week?
We're doing good. I'm in a car.
Yes, we. I can see. Yeah, I think this might be one of your better places to visit with us, but I think I like the visit from the front of the house more.
Oh, the mountain retreat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the mountain retreat that was pretty good.
I should
Um,
just do random locations from now on out.
yeah, that would be pretty funny. You could be like, did you ever watch The Guild?
No.
Oh man. So The Guild with Felicia Day, who has been my avatar for like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
a billion years. There's a season where one of the guys who's a very like he's super cheapskate guy, unwilling to pay for his own internet. So so the entire season is him driving around in his car stealing internet from other people. So every scene is him like having an important serious conversation, and then someone chasing them away from their parking lot with a broom. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Um, all right. So what do we have to talk about this week? I have a list here, and my list includes key map changes, which I think you're going to show us on your tablet.
Yeah.
The fall lineup, and more specifically the Muppets, which I want to talk about because I think it's interesting. Legitimate uses of cloud hosting in the future, which is kind of a mouthful, but it's something that's I think a lot of people are interested in. And finally, your hat. You're not wearing your hat this
Oh,
week.
I'm not. Crap. I didn't think about that. It's probably in the wash because I
uh,
wear it so often.
oh well, that's all right. But yeah, well, people keep asking about the hat, so I guess we could talk about it again. What do you want to talk about first? We could do keep map changes or cloud hosting. How how
Um,
or how ready are you for key map changes? Can you show that off at this point?
yeah, some of them are acting kind of weird, but I think that's just where the code is right now.
Oh yeah.
But the general gist, though, um, Cody, as hopefully most of everyone knows, is mainly designed to be used on a television, but we do have some tablet support here. I'm actually using Confluence right now instead of the touched, um, retouched skin. I can change to that real quick. But even though we're not really for tablets, we've slowly been improving things for tablets. There we got the retouch skin, which is much more touch friendly.
Oh cool.
Um, And one of the things we have as gestures, and we never really went in and did a whole bunch of stuff with the default gestures. So hopefully version 16 will include a new key map that I am proposing right now that'll make using a tablet a lot easier, especially if you got something weird where it's a smaller tablet or something, and maybe the skin isn't entirely touch friendly. It should be a little easier to use stuff now. And the big thing, why isn't that not working? Um,
Well,
I guess I
so
should tell. Go
to
on.
start out, what like so these are all gestures we're looking at putting in for Cody 16, right?
Yes,
So
you
what
could probably use most of them on Kodi 15 because it's just a key map change, and that's something a user can download. But yeah,
Yeah. So what key map or what gestures already exist? Like what's already part of Cody 15? I know
good.
the only ones I'm really familiar with are hold down and that opens a context menu.
Yeah, we've got and originally it was actually double tap was our context menu button, which you can kind of see right there.
Oh, that
Um,
does it too. I didn't even know that
yeah,
existed.
that was the first one, and then Jonathan Marshall said we should have tap and hold because that's what everyone else does. So someone added that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got two finger tap and tap and hold. Will do it. Technically, it does right click,
Yeah.
which is either context menu or back, depending on where you do it.
Right.
Like you could do it up above where there's nothing, and it'll do
And it'll do back.
back.
That's very
So
smart.
yeah, and then we have in addition to that, you can also do two finger swipe left.
And
It'll do it.
that
That
closes
goes
or goes
back as
back,
well.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only reason I ever had to. The only reason I ever figured out that that was that. I didn't even figure it out. Somebody told me. Was the HD Home Run app originally didn't
Oh,
have an easy way to exit out
uh,
on a tablet, and so the only way to do it was to do that two-finger swipe, which
yeah,
I then assumed meant close, but I guess we don't really have close anywhere else, so I guess it meant back.
yeah. And of course, maybe it's got some YouTube videos on here because I don't really have a playlist. Um, and then the other things you could do were like your standard directional controls. Like apparently this is some kid and a dog, but you could go like a step forward if it'll do it. It might not do it on YouTube.
Um,
Oh, it's because my on-screen display is okay. There we
yeah,
go,
there you go.
and you
Yeah.
can see the skip bar there going. Um,
And I've
so that'll.
noticed with that when you're if you have the setting where it's like does 10, 30 a
Oh
minute
yeah,
whatever,
yes. Seek
you can
steps
like
work
skip.
really well with this.
Yeah, you can skip
Yeah, like
multiple
you
times and it
can.
works really well. Do 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 do
Oops,
do do.
that I registered a double tap there. But yeah, so it'll do that. So your skip forward, your skip back. Is it back? Yeah. Skip back, skip forward. Um, if you have a movie with chapters, or if you have a playlist, um, it'll do like up. Will do no, not playlist. If you do have chapters, or if you have chapters, swiping up will go to the next chapter.
Yeah.
And if you don't have chapters, it'll go plus 10 minutes, which is kind of like a fake chapter.
Right.
Um, and so what has been added now, oh, and also two finger swipe will also do small step back. And that's what's currently available.
Oh, when
Um,
video's playing, a two finger back does small step back.
yeah.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
that was actually before it should probably be changed, but it used to be that on remote controls, back did the same thing and I was emulating it. And then someone changed it so back always did back, which is probably correct because you want it to be consistent.
Right.
But I never changed it on the touchscreen, so I don't know if that's going to stay. Uh, but so we have that, and I've got a whole bunch of videos here, so we'll do a playlist because what we didn't have was like anything else. Like we didn't have anything for like a slideshow.
Right.
That was one of the things that got me thinking about it because the guy had set it up on a touch screen like in his car or something, and he couldn't get to any other pictures because there's no gestures, and it was like really trivial to add it. And I was like, why don't we have this as default? And we were also missing gestures and music, the visualization, the full screen music mode. So we didn't really have a way, like you could use the buttons on the screen,
Yeah.
but this way you can actually do it. You could actually use it like in a car and not have to look down and like crash and die.
Yeah. That's much handier.
And so we got everything added to music. And in addition, we have now two finger swipe.
Oh, did we lose you? Uh-oh. Looks like we lost Ned. Oh, that is sad news. All right, let me try to get Ned back here. Let's see if I can get him in the phone. Hey Ned, it looks like we lost you there for a minute.
Oh, that was weird because the Skype client made this like sound effect that sounded like a oh, like it died or something. Like, that was, I was like, okay, where was I? When did
So
I stop talking?
you were just showing how we now added gestures to pictures and music.
Yeah, pictures, music.
Oh, and now you were looking at new gestures for videos. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. For both video and music, two finger slide up and down will go next or previous on a playlist. Or if you have play next automatically, that works there too.
So two fingers up or down.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't have. I should have set up the PVR demo, but on live TV, one finger swipe up and down will do your channels now,
Oh, that's nice.
which is Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did we add? Oh, and on pictures, that was like an interesting thing because it was like on a touch tablet, it's kind of backwards. Like we've been showing it as like swiping. Let's see, what is this? Left or right? Left. Kind of backwards. Basically, your swipe direction is in the direction of the timeline
Yeah.
instead of pulling it. But with pictures, you want it to flip. So if you want to go to the next picture, it's more like a going back gesture because it just seems more natural and it's what everything else uses. So it's instead of like this would be going back on a video, but on and screen or not screensaver slideshow, it goes to the next or previous picture as if you're pulling it. And the other cool thing, which is for some reason is only iOS right,
Oh no, did we lose you again?
this 3 finger tap. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Nate,
Wait, you're back. You're back.
that's weird.
iOS a 3-finger tap? You said?
We have 3 finger tap on iOS and 3 finger gestures. So what I added for there was, Cody quit on me. Oh, there we go. Now when we play a video, I don't know if it'll do it. This is what I was talking about before. It wasn't quite working too well. I don't. Maybe it's not detecting the 3 fingers as well, but it should do. There we go. That worked. 3 finger swipe up will give the play using option, and if you have another Kodi install set up or a UPnP or DLL.
Oh, I may have lost him again. But that makes sense. If you have some other thing to send it to, a UPnP
Actual
receiver.
built-in button for that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we lost you, but you're back. So if you do 3-finger up,
Yeah.
it'll send you to a list of places you can send it to. Usually that means other Kodi instances or UPnP players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And hopefully
Oh no.
an Android developer bust in there and add it. Did I die again?
No, you're good. It's
okay.
It's just it got grainy.
But yeah, hopefully Android will have that by the time version 16 is out. And that's and there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. We were doing pretty conservative editions because we didn't want to get like too crazy.
Yeah.
Like there are some other stuff like double finger tap will show the whole playlist, but like users who really want to get into it can add specific gestures on specific screens. So like if you need you want your favorite.
So close.
It won't matter where you are in Kodi, you can bring that up.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it sounds pretty cool. How do you add new stuff?
Oh.
Here,
You just make a new key map.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's not like there's no GUI for it. You just have to add it yourself.
Yeah, I don't think the key map add-on will work with gestures.
Yeah.
It might. I don't know. But there's.
Oh.
Swipe 3 up, and you can do action and.
Okay. Okay, so Ned, I'm going to try to make this connection work a little bit better. So why don't we turn off your camera since I think we're done showing off gestures at this point. So then we'll just switch to voice call, and hopefully that keeps you connected a little bit longer while we talk more about other things.
Okay.
Now that we've got Keymaps all covered. So the other two.
Oh, and the other thing, real quick,
sure.
is if you have a Nexus player, I guess Nexus player or Shield remote, those are going to get a little more useful too.
Oh, how so? From
long press.
Long press, yeah.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that.
Have you played with a build that actually has long press enabled?
Yeah, on the Shield actually.
Oh, you have? I still
Yeah.
haven't. I don't know what. Like, is it just a nightly or where? How do,
Uh
which versions do that? So that
huh. You just get a nightly build.
okay, I might. Oh, I wonder if I can install one really quickly while we're talking. Um, so just a nightly build will do it.
Uh
So
huh.
so tell me more about that. What do long presses do?
Well, right off the bat, long pressing on select will bring up the context menu. Long pressing on back will bring you all the way to the home screen. And the additions that I've proposed are fairly tame, like pressing and holding on back while you're playing a video will stop it. And there are a couple other little minor ones, like making it a little easier to get out of, like when you're typing something on the on-screen keyboard, but you just want to cancel out of it. You can long press on back, and it'll get you out of that without having to press done or anything.
Oh, that
Um,
would be really nice. So that's sort of a standard, like basically just adding all of the standard features that long press has in other areas.
yeah, like we supported long press for the Apple remote on
Yeah.
both the Apple TV and on Mac OS, and a lot of it follows the same logic now because they only had 6 buttons too, I think 6 or 7 buttons, and long press effectively doubles your buttons, so it really makes it between that and skip steps. Like having a Shield remote is actually not that painful.
Oh, that's cool. And that's pretty critical because there are an awful lot of remotes coming out now that really do they're missing all of those buttons. All they have anymore is up, down, left, right, and OK, and usually
Yeah,
a back. And usually that's actually, that's a thing I've been thinking about a lot lately. I kind of started thinking about it when I did that video on how to make Kodi a little bit more like Netflix. I used to not be a big fan of the lack of a stop button, but I'm kind of coming around.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
like I always thought it was kind of weird that we continue playback when you exit out of full screen
yeah.
because it was like I can't see any of the
Yeah. Any of the video, I get it. I
step
think
back for a moment.
Yeah, I think that what was going on back then when we did that was the DVR whatever it was the DVR system from back in like 2003 or 4 um, when we first I'm gonna flip over to just Kodi, but the DVR system from back then was a system where you opened up the DVR controls menu and you scanned through all the channels, and when you did that, let's see, I'm gonna flip back over to you. It always left the show running, like TV was always on the whole time. So we just kind of emulated that, and we made stop, stop, and back did the same thing that DVRs of the time did. Oh, it looks like I lost you. All right, I'm gonna recall up Ned. Sorry about that. Um, turning to the audience, I guess, while you guys are listening. So yeah, so we that was how we had originally had it set up, but oh, okay, I'm definitely losing Ned. Definitely lost Ned. Uh, but we had it set up that way. But I think the navigation system of the past 15 years has really, maybe at least maybe the last 10 years or so, has really changed just about everything related to it. Like now, almost none of these streaming services that are like XBM or like Kodi, none of them have always on video, and so having a button like a regularly used button designed for always on video just doesn't make a ton of sense. So with that said, until I get back to Ned, let's flip over to Cody. I've installed the latest nightly build to see what long press will do, and it's pretty neat. So if you just hit enter and hold it, you get up all these cool new features or context menu buttons, which is super duper handy for the shield or for just about anything else I can think of. Actually, I'm gonna try to call Ned back. Okay. So I'm going to give it one more second. Hopefully Ned answers the context menu button. Hey! And Ned is back. All right.
Okay.
What's
Woo.
up, buddy?
Got a little disconnected there.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, I was talking while you were away. I was talking about how I think that the back button, the reason it used to be like that is because it was based on DVRs from 2003 when always on video was the thing. Now that we kind of live in a world of Roku's and other media center boxes where always on video is sort of the exception rather than the rule. You just don't have that very much anymore. It just doesn't make sense to have that back button with the intent of leaving video always on.
Yeah.
Yep. And also I showed everybody what holding down OK does in Kodi now. What
makes it so much more useful.
It is super duper handy. What were the other options that you said? Are there any more besides just holding down OK?
For right now, there should be a couple of defaults. Pressing down on OK and pressing down on back will bring you all the way to the home screen.
Oh.
And
that brings me, okay. Oh wait, here's a way I can test that. We'll go to Files, Television, Adventure Time, Season 3, and now hold back. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
And that might be all of them. At least for now. I think, and if you have a menu button, pressing and holding menu will bring up the sidebar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the little left-hand sidebar.
Oh, let's try that out.
So, like if you have I don't know, sometimes, in a skin, it takes like a whole bunch of extra presses to get there. You can just kind of flop that open real quick.
And you don't have to, like in a lot of skins, the issue with that menu bar is you don't really know which direction to click to get to it.
Yeah.
In Confluence, it's really obvious. You just click left, but in a lot of them, it's not nearly as clear.
Yeah, it's just kind of hidden. And I used to really hate that menu, but these kind of ways to bring it up now, it makes it a lot nicer, a lot easier to get to, and it's not just kind of forgotten about.
Yeah, I thought about pulling up another skin to show that off, but I don't remember which skins were, so I'm going to just not bother with that. All right, so that was cool. That's neat. I'm a big fan of that idea, and I was a big fan of the long press all along, so that's awesome. It'll be interesting to see how something like, I don't know, like the Flirt, that's not really designed to handle long pressing in the first place, or other IR-based remotes. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with it.
Yeah, that was the only, the one thing we had to watch out for is, all the long press stuff is going to be like an extra added thing. But if something depends on it, that's usually not good because there's a fine line between key repeat and actually long press and stuff like that. Or some remotes actually send two different signals. They send one for when you've pressed it and one for when you've unpressed it. It was an interesting discussion to find all this stuff out.
Yeah. So that'll be... Yeah, I mean, the obvious one that people use these days before any of this was hold down to scroll through a menu quickly.
Yeah, and that should still work. We made sure not to kind of use up any of the long presses on stuff you would normally long press.
Yeah. Like
that. So hopefully that works out good.
Okay, cool. Okay, we're already running. Oh, no, we're not. We're at about 26 minutes. Next thing I want to talk about is legitimate uses of cloud hosting. So, obviously, I think most of our users are pretty aware of illegitimate uses of cloud hosting, which is, all of those piracy add-ons that everybody talks about. But I wanted to bring up this is an idea that I know has been floating around for a while. Uh, Basically, the idea of instead of using any of those add-ons, you have your own library of ripped content, but then you store it yourself in the cloud. You know, like Dropbox style, basically.
That limit is kind of useless with the mountain
Yeah,
that has a white
you
dot.
probably in the background.
Indeed, indeed. What's up, buddy? Um, yeah. So essentially creating services that are basically Dropbox, but for video, which I get the impression is slowly becoming a real possibility in the future.
Yeah, a while back, I think Lifehacker even had an article about how to set that up with Google Drive.
Yeah.
When Google started giving people insane amounts of space for cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
True.
one obvious way to do it. You know, the failed Boxy TV, was that what it
Oh, the
was?
yeah,
The
with
one
the
that
cloud
lasted.
recording.
Yeah, it lasted for like a week. That
Yeah,
one, I think that one, it was a really good idea, I think, that they had. They just implemented it poorly because there was no possibility of local hosting. It all had to be recorded in the cloud, which by
yeah, with
definition meant it was going to break.
yeah, because all those people that like bought them, and it was like a week, literally a week, where Samsung bought them, and we're like shutting down the servers in a week.
Yeah.
And they were still being sold in stores. So yeah, that's the big fear, right? Is if you put things in the cloud, you're kind of at the mercy of the cloud.
It's true. So I mean, if it's like Google Cloud, where it's a company that you know is going to last forever, it probably isn't a big deal, and it's probably going to last. Well, God,
Yeah,
you can't even say that about Google. I know a
yeah,
lot of people who were very dependent on Google Wave all the way up until the moment it disappeared.
yeah.
And Google Reader, which was their like
Oh,
news accumulator, man, I used the hell out of that, and it was gone.
yeah,
So I guess the only way you can really hope that it'll last is if it's a definite moneymaker. So, like, if you have to pay like a monthly subscription fee to store all of your stuff in the cloud, or something along those lines, that might be one way to ensure that it lasts. Um, and that might be it. Like, there has to be some way for the company hosting to profit.
hmm,
And even then, it's not necessarily guaranteed. But I mean, there's obviously a desire for it, right?
oh
Um,
yeah,
so here's Seabers has written in. MB has plugins to sync your media to Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive. So there you go. Obviously, there are already ways to do it. Um, I think my assumption is that it's going to be more like an MB or a Plex service where you don't necessarily sync to other services like Google Drive. It'll be them actually providing hard drive space themselves in the cloud, where it's eventually going to go. You'll basically have your own little YouTube hosting site, but only for your own content.
yeah.
But I don't know. So that was the reason this is being brought up is because last week when I was doing my futurology talk, I said that in 5 years I thought that everyone would need to have their own server just because the front end of Kodi would probably mostly just be on TVs. Like there wouldn't need to be a set-top box anymore.
Yeah.
Um, and
That's where all the
and somebody said, well, why would you even need a server? Why wouldn't it be in the cloud? And that I thought that was a really interesting point that I hadn't thought about. So maybe it will be. Who knows?
I'm real pessimistic about cloud stuff though.
Yeah,
Like, and I use a lot of stuff like that, but there's a lot of stuff where I go like, nah, hard copy
yeah,
on my drive.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
a
hear
grumpy
you.
old man that doesn't want to change.
I do. There are some things I do cloud for things that I think are absolutely critical, and then I also have a copy at home. For example, I keep all of my tax records in a cloud server somewhere, along with at home and like four different other places. That's for me and for like my entire family because I know losing those would really suck. Um, Anyway, so yeah, so there's the cloud. I think my guess is that it's going to be a weird combination of things in the future. I think it'll probably be a little bit of the diehards who need everything at home, and a little bit of the people who don't care, who put everything in the cloud, and a little bit of everything else. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
All right, so moving on. I only have, well, your hat. I don't know. Do you have any idea how we can? What have you talked to that guy since? I don't know, since whenever, the hat guy.
Oh, Pat.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in a while. He actually hasn't been really active on our farm lately.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is he worked at like a traditional like clothing, apparel, whatever thing. So they had like a minimal order, and so far none of the Teespring type companies or anything like that are doing hats yet. Like they all say it's coming in the future, but none of them actually have done it yet.
It's too bad. I would love a hat. I would love a hat that's got the. Is yours painted on or is it stitched on?
It's embroidered.
Oh God, I would love that. That would be so cool. All right. Well, so I don't know. I guess we'll keep pinging people in hopes that eventually happens. But for now, sorry guys, no hats. Except in. I was gonna make a joke about a game where there are hats, but I forgot which game it was. Is that Counter-Strike, where there are hats?
Team Fortress.
Team Fortress.
Is that the one where they trade hats? It's a Steam thing, right?
Yeah, it's like a whole thing that I've never gotten into because I couldn't understand why you'd do it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Apparently, I found out I have like a really rare item that I can actually trade for money or something. Someone said.
Oh, really? Like, 'cause
yeah,
you like logged in at just the right time or something?
Well, remember when Steam first came out for Mac?
Yeah.
And they were like, you could get headphones, like your character can wear little Apple headphones in the game.
Oh.
And it was like, I don't know, their way to celebrate the Mac port, which I thought was weird because it was like, that wasn't really an iconic thing, like Mac headphones. They're just headphones.
Right. It's not like Beats by Dre or anything.
Yeah, there's white headphones. But anyways, because they were only released during then, it's like an in-game item that is like
super
really rare.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? Why would anyone give me money for this? I did not understand that.
Huh. No, that's funny. I wanted to follow that up, and I can't think of what I was going to follow it up with. All right. Well, I can't remember, so we'll go on to the next topic. Last thing. This is it, and then we're done this week. New shows this month and for this fall season. Do you have anything that you're just absolutely pumped out of your mind excited about?
Rick and Morty. Have you seen that yet?
I've been watching. Yeah, I'm up to. I'm caught up. I think at this point, that is fantastic.
I love that show.
It's amazing. So this past week was the callback to the cable.
Yes, the interdimensional cable or something.
Yeah, which was
cable box.
I think everyone agrees was probably the best episode from last season. And I liked what they did this season by essentially saying, this is not going to be as good. You should be aware of that fact and just deal with it. And it wasn't as good, but it was still Rick and Morty level good. So that was good enough for me.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I love how so much of it you can tell is just kind of improvised.
Yeah.
Like some of the pitches for the shows and this. It's great.
It's clearly that guy Justin Roiland or whatever his name is. He's just standing in a sound booth and they're saying, "Okay, come up with ideas," and he just records them off the cuff and then they animate them.
Yeah.
Like it's. I think a lot of times animation is very strictly worked out, where they have the idea and they storyboard it out, and then only after everything's almost set do they actually record the actors. But I think in the case of maybe this whole show, frankly, I don't know. I think that they record the actors at near the very beginning and then put everything in after the fact.
Oh yeah,
it's because it feels so off the cuff, which I don't know how you do that with a cartoon unless you're doing it that way. Yeah, so Rick and Morty's great. The one I teased in the description is the Muppets. And that I think you really need to check it out. You said before we started that you hadn't watched it, right?
No, yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
You need to check it out. And man, it's hard to explain what's going on in that show because it's it's like the 90s never happened, if that makes sense. Like back in the 70s and early 80s, the Muppets was very much an adult TV show. Like it was meant for adults and not for kids. And even if you watch the very first Muppet movie, it's not super kid friendly. Like there are like kids watch it, but it doesn't really become kid friendly until like Muppets Take Manhattan and later movies. Uh,
Yeah,
so I think there's this generation of kids who grew up like our generation basically, who grew up not totally being aware of the fact that the Muppets wasn't always just a kids thing. It wasn't always just the movie version of Sesame Street. It was more like the adult version of Sesame Street.
yeah,
And so what this TV show does is it kind of pulls you back to that original version of the Muppets. And so like there's this scene. So the plot kind of building up to this is that Kermit and Miss Piggy broke up, and that's yeah, and it's played as a joke for the longest time in the episode. But then you actually get to see the scene where they break up, and it's real weird because on the one hand, yes, they are Muppets, but on the other hand, man, it's you actually genuinely feel sad watching that scene play out, which is so weird.
I think she's coming.
Also, she may be coming. I'm not sure who that is.
the context is wrong on
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, anyway, so that's my I don't know. That's my take on the Muppets. I
Yeah,
really
well,
I want
that's
you to watch it. Next week is episode 2. I think we should talk. I hear it's like the first season, the first episode was evidently only okay, but the second one really picks up. I haven't seen it yet. That's just based on the reviews. But I
oh
think next week we should watch both those and talk about it. And also, Agents of Shield, I think, is playing next week, so we should talk about that too.
oh good.
Yeah.
Oh, I see her.
Oh, there we go. All right. Well, so
Whatever.
anyway, I think that covers everything we have to talk about. So, you ready to sign off, Ned?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
cool.
guess.
All right, sounds good. Then I guess until next week, hopefully we get the internet a little bit faster for you, and I don't know. I'll see you later.
All right. See you later.